This hot, this the spot. There it is, pod.com. We're interviewing the best comedians, so tune in quick and get your ears receiving them. We talking about life and life to stream right to you, from the microphone right to your home, dude. Side note, this might get embarrassing, but no, don't sweat, yo, cause there it is.
Welcome to the There It Is podcast, a comedy podcast for creators of any variety. I'm your host, Jason Farr. Let's do this. Thanks so much for being here. Very much appreciate it. Today's episode, we have a friend of the show, good friend of the show, Davy Gardner. He is a UCB writer, and he's a good pal of ours. He's on an indie team with me and with Justina. And you hear Justina in the background in this because this was recorded in our apartment. So girlfriend of the show is looming in the episode. It's a loose and fun episode. Before we get more into that, I do want to mention that you can go to thereitispod.com. You can read up on blogs. We have various blogs about guests and episodes, but also just other general information regarding comedy. And you can also support the podcast by going to the website. And big thank you to the people who are already supporting us. You can support in a couple of ways through PayPal and Patreon, either a one-time thing or monthly. And again, thank you to everyone who has donated. The reason we ask for support is because it helps us pay for the monthly bills of hosting fees and things like that. Also, it'll help us if equipment needs to be bought, we can more easily pay for that equipment. If you feel that you are getting good things from this podcast, that you're learning and you want to continue to learn from these wonderful guests that we have, then supporting us will help us continue to bring you that. And we can also help to promote and grow our audience and have more of a reach with the kinds of guests that we could get. So that's where supporting will go. Also, it would help justify all the time and energy that I put into putting this podcast together, because I am the only one doing everything. I get the guests, I do the research, I write the questions, I interview them, I edit everything, I'm managing the website and the social media. I'm doing all of the stuff that has to go into it, things that you know about, things that you don't know about. I'm doing it alone. So helping out will be a relief for me in big ways. Okay, enough of the thing that people hate having to do when they have a podcast, which is asking for money. Let's get to the thing we love to do, which is sharing with you our amazing guests for today. Davy's such a great guy. He is a good friend of ours. We met him through Magnet, and we're about to go through auditions together at the Magnet Theater, but he is currently writing for a Maude team at UCB. It's a sketch team there, and he's also an associate producer at the wonderful Truth podcast. Really great podcast, so check that out. Let's just get right to it. Here's my chat with Davy Gardner. Davy, you're one of our closest friends here. So we're drinking wine, we're baking cookies, you're in our home.
You're beautiful, huh? It's the perfect place.
You're not the first person to come and do an interview here, but you are the first to get wine and cookies. So
well, I bring it out in people. Yeah.
You're from New York.
I am.
I know this, the listeners may not. Where exactly? Was it
Manhattan.
West Side?
Upper Manhattan.
Upper Manhattan?
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
People don't think that I'm from New York, but I am.
Yeah? Where do they think you're from?
A lot of people say Ohio.
Oh, really? We have a good friend from Ohio. That's why we laugh.
I know. Oh.
One of the other friends from our indie team. And
Andy Roberts.
Andy C. Roberts, if that's his middle initial. I'm just taking a stab at it. I didn't doubt it. I wasn't surprised when you told me New York, but I would expect a person's guess to be Connecticut for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, a lot of my family's from Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I just have that blank whiteness about me. Is that it? The, cultureless.
Yeah, I mean, if people just want to know, what Davy looks like and they haven't looked at the picture.
I'm see-through.
It's just, think Connecticut.
Right.
No, but you're from this area, and I feel like... So that's one of the first things that we all noticed about you, because we met in level 4.
Yep.
right after the midway point of taking classes at Magnet, and you're just so immediately funny and quick and sharp.
Nice.
Well,
so nice.
Get used to it. You're going to get a lot of compliments today, sir.
Oh, good.
It's an intervention of you accepting compliments. No, but for real, and I just feel like it has something to do with you being from New York. You're being so funny that it's like I feel like growing up here, people are sharper. They're quicker. They're more to the point. Not necessarily like people think more to the point exclusively means mean, but I just mean they just cut to the like core of an issue. They just like are
That's
quick,
interesting.
Street smarts, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that on the radio. No, I don't know if I would say it at all, but I'm not sure that's true, but it is very nice. And it might be, I think there's a little bit more like what's really going on here. That's like sort of part of the culture, I guess.
Yeah.
Colin Quinn has a great stand-up special about New York. You know.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I've only heard about it. Yeah. All of my comedy specials on Netflix are just sitting in my queue.
Yeah.
Forgotten about. And then 2 years later, it doesn't make sense to watch it. A lot of times.
Right.
Well, no, okay. So, like, I feel like you're very much a writer, you know?
Yeah.
And as you know. and and so I feel like that comes out in the way you present comedy. And I'm interested about when you got super into comedy. Were you a kid who was always joking around? I mean, for me or other members of our indie team, it's kind of obvious we were the ham in the family who goofed around. But were you the ham, or were you the writer type who was more like sitting in your room writing a bunch of funny stuff? But
I was definitely alone in a dark room writing jokes that only I ever saw. Yeah, that's my vibe. Not like, same as Robin. No, I'm kidding. She was the ham.
Yeah. This is the third podcast episode where Robin was mentioned. She's gonna be delighted.
Oh yeah. I was always like a writing type.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think about comedy at all until after college.
After college?
Yeah.
Okay.
After college.
And so were you a lover of comedy before that, or were you more of a, like...
Yeah, I always loved funny stuff and funny writing, but I just didn't think about it in the way that... I didn't really know it existed in the way that it does. And then... And I always wrote like essays and short stories and like even like movies and stuff before then, but I never thought about it like comedy writing. I think in like sort of the way that 30 Rock made it famous. You know what I mean? Like that kind of way. I just didn't think it was sort of an option. I don't know. And then I just had all kinds of like a weird college experience. And then I came back to the city and I went to a UCB show and I loved it. I always wanted to do like writing on Maude. That was like my goal. Yeah.
When you say you had a weird college experience, was it because of what your major was? And obviously it wasn't entertainment based.
It was because it was not entertainment based. I was a history major.
Okay.
Why was it? Well, yeah, sure, we could talk about that. My mom died in my senior year of college, and she was sick during most of college, and I was far away from home, so it was just like a complicated, awful situation.
I thought you were closer to home for college.
No. Yeah, it was way. And
where were you?
I was at in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was like cold and far away.
Yeah,
and everyone was nice. Ugh. It was awful. And yeah. So it was like a weird college experience for sure.
Okay.
I like worked really, really hard. My family's very academic in a lot of ways, and I was working really, really hard.
Isn't you have a sister who's like a PhD? You told me or something.
She's a medical doctor, but I'm sure she would love that you said that.
So yeah. I mean, this is the background you're coming from of like very
fiercely competitive wasps. Yeah.
That's not what I was gonna say. But that's what I was gonna mean.
Right.
Well, so you had that experience in the UCB show that you saw. Just totally changed everything for you? Or was there a little bit of a build-up?
Yeah,
I mean...
well, no. It was a big deal. I mean, it was also like I was very sad for a while.
Right.
Yeah, and then I like went to a show. I saw this. It just became this big community of people that were, you know, a bunch of weirdos just having fun, and I went to a lot of.
I feel like you found your people.
I found like my people, and and improv in general. I hadn't had any exposure to. So then I was like, oh wow, this is cool. I like this a lot. And it
what
felt
show
like,
was it? Okay.
No. It was I went to a lot of shows Grandma's Ashes did, which is a Saturday night slot. But I also saw Improv Nerds with Steve Tyson, Brandon Gardner.
So you were seeing a mix of shows. You weren't exclusively seeing improv or sketch. You were seeing a little bit of both?
Oh, yeah. No, I was started with like seeing some improv shows, and then I went to the sketch night, and then I was like, that's what I want to do.
Oh, very cool.
I really, because I kind of had an instinct like that I wanted to be a writer, and I was like, oh, I like this theater. I probably want to write at it, and I did want to write at it, and it was, I don't know. I guess it did sort of change a little bit in one moment. It was like what you said. I just like feel like, I found my people. This is like a good vibe.
Yeah. I mean, that's the experience I think all improvisers have when they go to the theater or when they hang out or something. Then they realize, these are the people I've been looking for my whole life. That I didn't even know they existed. And here's that connection. It's something that when Jon Stewart was talking about when the experience of finding stand-up and starting to do it, and he said that it was like finding the socket for his plug, you know, like it's the thing that gave him electricity or energy,
that
you know.
Holds up.
And I think that's somewhat what happens when people who become improvisers find, you know, like when they go to these theaters, it's kind of like, this is the thing that energized me in a way I didn't realize I even could be energized. Yeah. That's a big moment.
I've always loved improv so much, since I heard about it, because of the like mindset that it puts me in for writing.
Right.
And I like it in general on its own, but I just like so many of the things that I needed to learn as an improviser is exactly what I had to learn as a writer, and then it just jump-started the whole thing. And I also think it felt like a little bit like cheating. Like there were so many people in improv classes that hadn't taken or like really thought a lot about sketches, and improv is most like some of it is like improvised sketches. So like just like the structure of like 3 beats, the game, whatever, all of that stuff came so easily to me because I was like, we're just doing a sketch. So that just makes sense in my head.
So when you started, I assume, did you first start taking sketch classes or was it improv classes?
I took a sketch class first, and then I took shortly after an improv class. And the improv class was like, let's have fun. I'm young. Let's do something weird, you know, like, and then I ended up loving it. So, yeah.
And did you go through the whole curriculum at UCB for improv?
Yes, improv and sketch.
And sketch, I assume.
I had great teachers at UCB. I love and at the Magnet as well. I love being in class.
Yeah.
Nerd.
As a fellow nerd who started a podcast to be a nerd about improv and comedy in general, I get you.
Do you have like a blog or website for this podcast? Do you think you could post that photo for people listening? There's a photo behind Jason of Jason as a child, and he looks the same.
Do I?
Or you just look? It is just a look that's like. It's like, I'm curious about what's going on.
Well, that's funny. I'll post it on my Instagram.
Okay.
Which I tell people about. Good. So it's enough of a connection. Well, so yes, we are again in my place, and and you're close enough to me to mention that. But it's funny, like all the other guests, like they've seen it. I've talked to them about it, maybe, but not in the episode, but they are all sitting. No, don't be. I'm just pointing out that they were sitting where you are, and they had to sit. These comedians had to sit there and not say anything because they didn't know me well enough to say anything.
I gotta say it.
Oh wow! Is that kind of a power move to sit somebody there and be like, "Look at my second grade photo and don't say a word."
While I like that idea, I think if that photo is anything, it is not a power move. It is quite the opposite. I think it brings me
I'm
calm.
daring them.
Yeah, right.
I'm
You're daring them to bring it up.
Something.
Yeah. I guess it is.
Back to other forms of comedy, though. Your UCB time period, which you still are in your UCB time period, but the early stages, what I'm fascinated about is how quickly you got good at writing, because you're the kind of writer that I would have assumed was doing a lot of comedy writing starting in like junior high or high school or something. But it doesn't sound like that was necessarily the case. It sounds like you did most of your writing out after college.
First, I want to say you are also very talented. It's weird to have somebody. I need to reciprocate this a little bit. But thank you. Yeah, I feel like I got good at writing quickly. Also, just because I have, as I said, I've been a writer like my whole life. Like it's always been the thing that I wanted to do. So just sketch was sort of just a form of writing. Like it felt very much like going in, writing an essay, going and writing whatever it is. It's just going home and doing the work. Like I get what it is to be alone with your computer and just do like creative writing in particular.
Oh yeah.
Like I did creative writing in college, and so I think that made it go faster. And also I think it was such a happy and fun place to be that I just was like more because I had previously been in like a little bit of a downer zone. Yeah. So I was like, I want to do this.
It's a good thing to put your mind on and get your mind off of some things too.
It is good.
To like focus
or even
that
make
much
light
on
of those things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's coping.
I have a dark sense of
you do have a dark.
usually,
That's true. I think that's great. And I think it is what helped you hit the ground running there, Like how long did you go through the taking classes process before you got on a mod team?
It did happen quickly. I don't know the amount of time. I got through the classes. I guess like 2 years I think. Yeah, and then I got put on the foundation, which is the best group of people.
Really?
So much of like
talented people. Previous guest Erica Hernandez.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I saw her, was going to see your show.
Just a wonderful person.
She's
like a
seems like a very sweet person. I don't know her super well. Time I talked to her, you can never really gauge when it's the first time you've spoken to someone at length.
Right.
How they are. She seemed nice, but I don't know.
She is just. Oh, I'm sorry. What were we gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, but then the last time I saw her was with you, and she's the sweetest.
Just a wonderful person and performer.
Incredibly talented. Her late show bits that she's done are fantastic. She's so good in them.
She is really great in them. She's also the best person to have on a team. There was a time a little while ago where we were going through some just like tough stuff team wise, and it wasn't anything like we love each other. It was just like a scheduling thing or whatever, and she ended up texting everyone a thing that she like loved about each person on the team. Like she's just somebody that goes above and beyond, and just so talented. And we've become very close because we have a similar like naturalistic, somewhat dark type of.
She said the same about you. Yeah. She said she made that same point in referencing you. She's super talented. Check out that episode if you haven't. I'm speaking to the listeners.
Oh, okay.
Her episode of the podcast. So how long have you been with the foundation?
2 years.
Okay.
This is wrapping up the end of our second year now.
Let's talk about your writing process. Like when you have an idea and you're trying to break that idea and make it work in the form of a sketch, what is your particular preferred approach?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think that there are a lot of different ways of going about it, and one is like premise-based, where you come up with a premise for like a pitch meeting, right? And then that'll be clearly just like a comedic premise that you can say in one sentence. But then I think the other way of writing that I really like doing and sort of been trying to like figure out is being able to just like sit down and write and sort of like improvise on the page, like sort of not knowing what the premise is in the beginning, and just sort of writing something, and then while you're sitting there sort of like making moves in a way that you would as an improviser, and then from that then sort of like just dribbling out like 3-4 pages of just letting yourself make weird choices, and then being like, oh, I discovered like how this thing in here made me laugh. How do I repeat that, or like explore that specific thing? Because then I think it becomes like more organic and more like I love to do scenes that improvisers enjoy watching. Like I like to do scenes that feel naturalistic acting and like and like surprising choices, like that they would be like a great improv scene, you know? Usually.
So the thing that I have a tough time with when I'm writing is I do hit walls. And so what it sounds like, if I were to take advice from what you're saying, is to, when I hit those walls, to think about what is a move that you can make. And that's somewhat knowing the different moves that can be made and thinking about the moment and like, okay, what kind of move would work here? But then also the like twist that I can do.
Well, do you mean when you hit a wall, like in terms of coming up with any idea, or hit a wall like while you're in the middle
while
of
I'm
writing?
In the middle of writing.
Sketch? And what kinds of writing are you doing? Is it sketch?
When I've written sketches, that's the thing. It's like I'll have a premise I like, and I have maybe a couple of beats of it that I'm already kind of know that I want to get to. Yeah,
so then I think for me, I go to the same rules that you would give. I just burped. I'm sorry. I go to the same rules that you might say for improv, like going back to your environment or something. Like sometimes when you know, and not just like to quote unquote rest of the game, but also just because if you go back to what naturally those characters would be doing, then if you find a way that sort of organic natural move could go back into the game, it's always more surprising than if you like shoehorn in like, and then this happens. You know? So it's
that's a really good note, because the typical mistake that people make with improv is trying to invent something brand new. That's improv or sketch. Is they get so far into a scene and they don't know where to go next. And so they just go to Crazy Town or some aliens land all of a sudden, and it's like, what did that have to do with anything that we've seen for the last 2 minutes? You know, it's inventing something, and you can only invent but so much. You know, like there's at this point it's a craft. It's about crafting it. Okay, good stuff.
It's always interesting to see where a sketch can go. But yeah, I think it's always going to be more interesting if it's like a naturalistic next thing to happen in the scene. And I love also finding scenes. Like I think if you have a funny idea, one way to, but you don't know like the context, one sort of way to cheat is to just put it in any context that has a set of beats naturally built into it. Like I do, I've done too many sketches about games, and it's because it is quite obviously it has the structure of a game. And it's just like, oh, okay, now it's your turn. You know, like that. It's like so obvious. But anything really that it doesn't have to be a game. Just any like wedding toasts at a rehearsal dinner. That's something that has beats already. So whatever your idea is, whatever the unusual thing you want to throw into that, it's like it's gonna have like 3 beats. You know? And it's so easy to just do it that way.
You also write for the Truth podcast.
I do.
And one of the things that you wrote for there that I love so much is an episode called Game Night. If people listen to the Truth podcast, you're hearing some of his work. It's a great podcast to check out. You're also working there now as a producer, right?
Yes.
And that was within the last 6 months or so?
Yeah, it was in the
But how did you get into getting to write there?
So I wrote sketches at the UCB Theater for Maude Night, and we like filmed them and put them up on YouTube. And they were Jonathan Mitchell, the producer, and the person who used to have my job, Carrie Caston. They were building a sketch episode, because they do sketch episodes every now and again at the Truth. And they found one of them found one of a sketch I wrote called Two Truths and a Lie, and the other one found a different sketch I wrote called Bad News Phone Call. And both of them I cheated and used a game structure, and both of them are just wildly sad. So
how did they find them?
They just were going through all Magnet Sketch and all UCB Sketch, looking for sketches that appealed to sort of. And I think that's what's nice about Me and the Truth is that it feels like sort of a good pairing, because I tend to like sort of more more naturalistic stuff, and that's what they do. So then, he just reached out to me and asked me oh, do you have another? Could you write a little bit more to fill out the rest of this game night episode as the obvious theme? And then I wrote it, and we had a great time working together. Yeah. And then 6 months later, he brought me on for a writer and the associate producer. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really great. It's a good opportunity, and it's just one of the weird things about New York, because when you're trying to find work or get somewhere, people say well, you have to do this, this, and this, and da 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 da, and then all the people who have the work, and you ask them how'd you get the job? It's randomly. Yeah. I mean, obviously the work, you were creating stuff and you were putting stuff out, so that's an obvious thing. Yeah, that's a very important aspect of it. But at the same time, it doesn't have this plotted course. Yeah. And maybe I'm starting to feel to a certain degree, maybe people shouldn't get so bogged down with the plotted course, because when they have a misstep there, then they can start hating themselves or whatever. Well, I think
not only that, but I think that in entertainment in general, if somebody has done a specific plan of action, then agents will be that's. I
they burn it. It burns it.
It's sort of that way has happened with this person. What are the chances that it's going to happen again? The Broad City Mouse, start a web series.
Right.
It's and then now there are a million
people doing the same thing. Yeah.
And I think and I think a lot of that has to do with being when you are somebody who sort of looks at what somebody else has done and sort of follows what they're doing. That's always helpful in one way, but also it's good to follow what you want to do, even if there's no name for it.
Yeah.
Because then if I know a lot of sketch writers who do cartoons and stuff, and I think that kind of thing is so cool. It's just it's what you like, and it's not they're trying to write for the New Yorker or anything. It's it's just
they're
that
just
they
doing what they wanted to do. Yeah,
and that's when you get really creative stuff that's not derived on something.
And that's when you can enjoy the passion of it, I think. Yeah. And I think because a lot of people, when they try to join the rat race, then it's disappointing and it brings down the thing they're passionate about. Right. Find the fun in your life and focus on it. Yeah, work hard and obviously and hone your skills. But I think if someone was saying I'm putting a bunch of sketch videos online and I'm just hoping Comedy Central notices, then it's you're gonna get burnout. Yeah. And you're gonna start hating the process of creating sketches. And what if your big break comes once you start hating it? What are you gonna do? Yeah. It's just, I don't know. There's a balance to find, and there's got to be just a more healthier way to approach life.
I think that's the main thing. Overall, is I think people forget how to just approach. There's also just I think people, if you are struggling with your writing or something. Learn how to cook. And I'm not saying learn to cook so that you can write about it. I'm saying just so that you care about anything else. Because then you just get back in touch with what it is that you, I also think I've heard this somewhere. I don't know if it was from a friend or on a podcast. I don't really remember. But I heard a long time ago, and this has been sort of the driving thing for me, that a lot of people approach this industry or field like hunting. I gotta go get that audition. I gotta go get the whatever. But it's actually it can be a lot more like farming, where you have different crops, different. Have you heard that before?
Kind of.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I sort of heard about it once, and now I'm not remembering as much.
Right. Yeah.
But Continue to
Well,
explain
it's just,
it.
I mean, it's just that, like, instead of having to go out and get something and have that sort of competitive, angry energy, it's about you start a bunch of different projects and you, like, diversify your crops. You do different things, and then you just keep tending to them. You know, like, you keep watering all the fields, and then eventually maybe 3 of them fail, but one of them really works, or one of them leads to something else. I have a lot of the stuff that I feel like has helped me along has been through, like, I used to be a teacher, like, like through teaching, and that's like such a random, you know what I mean? But it's also like, I think it's also just focusing more than anything, not on how it's going to work out for you, but actually what the thing is that you're trying to do. So if you want to act, I think it's like focusing on the acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And obviously there are a lot of different approaches.
Yeah, you disagree
but
from
like,
your tone, yeah.
No, I was trying to, like, say, like, doing a bunch of different things versus, like, following acting.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you can do either.
I think you could do either, yeah. I also don't think diversify your crowd, like, by that I mean, like, you have one show here. You're doing a sketch team there.
Yeah.
If you have, like, you're putting up your own show, that, like, you have an indie improv team. Those are all what I mean. It's like, diversifying your crops within the overall farm of...
Yeah, that's the approach I've taken.
Yeah, exactly.
Of, like,
you do this.
Podcast, indie team, you know.
And all of those things make the other things better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And it makes... You don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, but also you don't put all of your hope in one thing. I mean, obviously, like, life can get tough regardless of what approach you take too. I don't want to, like, make it seem like there's one surefire way.
There's not.
There's not. But I think some sort of healthy balance is always.
Yes. If the only thing you do is improv, then when you have a bad show, your life will feel awful.
Yeah.
Like your whole life. Right?
Yeah.
But then if you have a lot of things going on, then that bad show is just like, oh, that's bad, but something else is great.
Exactly.
You know? So that's good.
Yeah. I want to be present in all of those things and be honest about all those things, but I don't want one to overcome all of my life. It's a good approach. So you have since started doing things at Magnet as well. That's how, as I've mentioned earlier, that's how we met. And we went through the conservatory together.
We did.
And that was a great experience and super fun. What's it like? Because you've heard it all. Like, you've heard all the people criticize UCB because they're the big dogs. You know, and that's in large part why people are criticizing UCB. And I feel like there's fun that can be had in either place or both places. And, you know, there are a few people I know who are taking classes there and at Magnet, you know, and on a house team at Magnet taking classes, or on a house team at UCB. What is your feeling and vibe going through both worlds?
That's a great question. My feeling is I love both of them so much. They're both great. And I also think it's like, well, I'm curious to hear what you think. But I think that they're not exclusive to one another. They're different approaches, but also, like, you can know one approach and not do it. But it's just, like, kind of probably going to end up being helpful to you to be able to do it two different ways. Like, and it's also probably, like, some people are more suited for one and some people are more suited for the other.
Right.
Like, when I used to teach, it was all about, like, okay, if they didn't understand it the way that you explained it, you have to come up with a new way of explaining it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe some people just are like, what is... And there's a whole lot of other things going on in terms of, like, what the theaters are, like, culturally. But in the end of the day, in terms of, like, the actual differences in the way they talk about approaching scene work, I would say that they're just, like, two different ways of doing it. And, like,
and it's mostly overlap.
Yeah, if you speak Spanish, you don't have to, like, not learn French. You know, it's like a separate thing.
Yeah,
and they're both going to help you be good at both languages.
Right.
So,
right.
Whatever.
Totally agreed.
That's not a good metaphor, but you know what I'm talking about.
I get what you're saying. I trust the listeners get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense what you're saying. Because there is no reason, and I haven't experienced, hearing people from either theater hate on the other. You know, like you just don't hear that. And
you haven't heard that?
No, okay. I mean, I'm sure there's like students, but like people who are on house teams, I don't hear them crap on the other theater. Teachers, I don't hear them crap on the other theater. You know, like I just don't hear that.
Yeah.
But some people, it just, I don't know, there's some sort of temperature I'm taking in from even maybe before moving up here where it just sounds like there's some sort of fighting, and there's not so much, you know, like there's not all this like I don't know, blogs maybe make it seem like there is some sort of like beating each other up or something like that, but it's not really, you know, like Jason Mantzoukas is known as a UCB guy, but he did Mantzoukas Brothers at Magnet.
So many people,
right? You know,
there's like, so much overlap too. No, I mean, it makes if people are having that talking about it like the Crips and the Bloods, that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
There's so many teachers that teach at both, and like early that do different. That's.
I have not sensed any of that. I kind of wanted to spell that.
Well, what's your for sure? What's your feeling about? So that's sort of like if that's not true, how do you feel? I mean, you like Magnet stuff, right?
I love Magnet. Yeah,
I love the Magnet approach too. What are the other thing is also like, what are you going there for? What are you?
And that's it's ultimately why I was glad I went with Magnet. It's no shade on UCB. I just, it's just the way or the approach at Magnet. I can follow better. Like I get it more.
Totally.
I'm better at it. And it's more. I think it teaches me more of the type of improviser I want to be. Now, again, that doesn't disparage the merit of what is taught in improv at UCB, because there are a lot of improvisers from UCB that I love, you know, that I think are super great. I'm not as quick at breaking down the funny in a scene and how to heighten that like Matt Besser is. You know, and I feel like the approach there is very much
premise-based.
And I'm not as good at premise-based. I'm just
I think that's like when people talk about this kind of stuff, I always feel like it's like an opportunity, you know, like if the way you feel about it is I'm not good at premise-based, let's just say it, you're a fantastic naturalistic actor. We all know this. Jason Farr, what a great improviser, truly. So when you're in that scene with Matt Besser in your fantasy, or when you're living this out,
that scene's gonna go fine.
It's gonna go not only fine, but you'll probably ground it with sort of a great way of being real.
And that's his approach to improv. It sounds like I've heard him say things that are like what you're saying, of like he does want things to be like he has his approach, but it's not at the expense of grounding a scene or working with environment. Like he wants there to be truth in the scene.
Totally. And I also don't think that game is inherently not truthful. Like I think that there is something, even though it is a formula, when things are really funny in real life, like real memories where just people can't. There was this, Margaret and I went on this
Margaret, your lovely girlfriend.
Margaret Burris, she is the best thing.
Super
ever.
funny.
The best person. So funny. She is just, just like wildly funny, wildly intelligent, just the best person ever.
Someone's in love.
I know, right? I went on a tour with her of this plantation in the South, which was actually like super messed up the way they presented everything, but they
I know that experience,
right? It's interesting. It's like public history is but the thing that was so funny is that this poor tour guide was walking around. She had clearly like planned everything to the second, and there was this old grandfather clock, and she was like, "This is actually my favorite." I'm not going to do a Southern accent. This is my favorite. My favorite thing in the whole house. Like, if you'll listen, this old clock, like blah blah blah, some history, and she's like, "This old clock will ring right now." And then nothing happened. And then she was like, oh, whoops. And then she goes, oh, okay, right now. And then it didn't happen again. And then she did it like a third. She was like, something's wrong. And then finally she just was like, all right, well, I guess maybe this has never happened. I guess we'll move away from it. And then she starts talking about another thing. And then ding, ding. And it was just like, that really happened is just perfect, you know?
Yeah. Rule of threes, everything. Yeah, absolutely. No, and I totally agree. Like,
also, there's something about being on a tour when I love situations where you're not supposed to laugh, but you just can't stop.
Oh gosh, one of my favorite moments is
so fun.
I mean, it doesn't have the pattern. It's just like a really messed up joke was made amongst like super close friends, and I'm thinking like all four of us, it was like best friends from college, with a couple other people all in the car together, and one of them made just an awful joke
oh, no.
at the expense of one of the other friends, including his sister on her wedding night, and it was just like so funny. And we're in the back seat crying with laughter, and the more time that everyone else was in the car was awkward and not laughing,
absolutely,
the funnier it was, and the more it made me laugh.
That is exactly my favorite kind of humor, when somebody just does something that
so inappropriate.
I love stuff, and things that are inappropriate. That's what's so funny, or like revealing things. I wrote the sketch I wrote that my boss of the truth liked. It's like a sketch where they're playing two truths and a lie, and then have you seen that? It's like they're playing two truths and a lie, and they'll be like, it gets to like one of the characters, and then one of her like truths is this long fucked up story about like a clown. It's just like that kind of, and then everyone just doesn't know how to react. Those are my favorite situations. I love it.
I see it in your writing. I mean, in the game night has this element to it that you're talking about, and bringing it out, especially the Carnival episode of the last Wonderworld episode, which was the season finale of this past season of The Truth. Really does a great job of dragging that out and showing like what you're talking about right now, which is a tough thing to do, because it's tough to like make those moments of this is not what you're supposed to be laughing at, and we're all going to laugh about it right now. Like, it's what's so fun about that in real life is that it's organic and just happening, and how did this all happen? But when you're having to like intentionally do it, like it's a tough. Is that like your favorite genre of writing?
I don't know. I don't know what my favorite genre of writing is. It's I think whatever it is it's got to be surprising.
Yeah,
that's my main thing. Have you ever seen the movie Wild Tales?
No.
There's a great movie called Wild Tales. It's from Argentina. It's like it does a lot of sketch-like heightening, but they are short stories. So it's like a feature film that has 6 short stories in them. I recommend it, but it's just like a part of it is heightening an escalation of tension, and then another part of it is a narrative arc. And a lot of people say in sketch, like, don't be plotty. Like, those are that they sort of conflict with one another. But I don't think that they do necessarily.
I don't know that necessarily does in sketch. I understand why people give that note in improv.
Absolutely.
Because it's so hard when you're making it up on the spot to like follow the funny and a storyline. I
think why you give the note is because you might be working with improvisers who haven't quite gotten far enough that they can then play with it afterwards. But like if you are, like,
when you're advanced, like when
Lewis
you're
and Rick or someone, they can have characters that develop from start to finish, and then also have like
there's very much a plot in Kornfeld and Andrews. Well, I shouldn't say very much, because it really is more focused on the relationship, but there's so much plot. Because it's an hour, like they have to do an hour of an improv show of, and it's just 2 people up there, which makes it a little easier to bring in plot. Getting a little theoretical and nerdy on on improv notes. But now we're transitioning to the end of the episode where we can create something again.
Flew by.
It did. It always does.
We can create something fun.
Yeah, now
we can.
We can do that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Why not?
But what were you gonna say?
I always, at this point, I'm like, well, what have we been talking about? What's something that we could figure out? I recently did one with someone who writes sketch, so I don't want to like bring out sketch ideas again because that was just a few weeks ago. So what is something else I could do? And it probably is like doing an improv scene or creating an improv game or warm up or
fun. Let's do it. Which do you want to do?
Oof. Probably an improv scene.
Let's do
an improv scene.
All right.
Justina's in the room. Justina, can we have a suggestion of anything at all?
Cranberry.
She's cranberry. Thank you very much. Cranberry.
Hey, Tim, can you come on in here for a second?
What's wrong?
Yeah, I know you're new, and it's not. It's really not your fault, but I just.
No.
Yeah. So these muffins.
No.
Oh no, it's not a big deal. It's just.
But the muffins.
Yeah. So just sorry, I was just saying with these ones, if they go bad, you have to keep track of like when they go bad, because then if we're selling, it's really okay.
I messed up big, didn't I?
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, it feels like you get it. So that's all I needed to say. It's okay.
These are bad muffins here?
Yeah, these are bad. Yeah.
Okay.
So we just got.
I'll just take them as I'll throw them out. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, cool. This job means a lot to me. I know that you like went out on a limb to hire me. It means a lot that you hired me. So this won't happen again. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna throw these out right now. All right.
Okay.
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 And let this be a lesson to all you muffins.
Oh my.
If you go bad on my watch, I will end you. That's to the blueberries, to the lemon poppy seed, and definitely the everything muffin. If you go bad, I'm burning you.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, yes?
I've been standing here at the register for 45 minutes, and you've been talking to yourself.
No, I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to the muffins.
Okay, well, I would like a muffin. So, yes.
Which one do you want?
I would like a cranberry muffin.
A cranberry muffin. I would.
Normally, I wouldn't have waited all 45 minutes, but I'm really in the mood for some cranberries.
Yeah, about the cranberries. Yes, they do help you regulate. They went bad, and so I had to throw them out. And I'm sorry that I had to throw them out.
This is unacceptable.
Listen, you waited 45 minutes.
This is unacceptable.
You probably have.
Do you have a manager?
I do. But I just want you to know how sorry I am.
I wish that I went home and killed myself.
No,
because that is how you made me feel.
I'll get the
manager.
Get
your manager.
I'll get the manager.
Hey,
James?
Yeah, what's up?
This man's been waiting for 45 minutes. And he wants a cranberry muffin, but they're in the garbage.
Okay, so...
What do I do? He's very upset and he wants you.
Okay, he's not that. Just tell them that you ran out of muffins, Remember we talked about being direct.
Are you the manager? I'm the one who asked for you.
Yeah, you're the one who asked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hi,
I want a cranberry muffin. Okay. I've been waiting 45 minutes, and I have irritable situation in my stomach, and I need a cranberry muffin.
UTI.
Usually,
right?
I wouldn't wait 45 minutes, and if I can't get a cranberry muffin, I will go home and kill myself because of your employee.
Oh boy. Well, first let me just say I know how painful UTIs are. I've been dealing with that my whole life, right?
Oh, I didn't know that, James. I'm sorry to butt in.
Can you not listen
I'm sorry.
to our conversation?
I'm just going to talk to the muffins.
Don't do that.
Why can't you be cranberries?
Do you see what I'm talking about? He's just standing there talking to himself. I'm leaving.
I'm really sorry about that guy, James. I think he had personal things going on.
Hello? Been waiting.
You've been here too?
Can I get a chocolate croissant?
We don't actually make those here. That's the
All right.
French deli down the street.
Can I get a bagel? Everything? Whole wheat if you can?
We only do muffins here.
Really?
It's...
You only sell muffins?
Yes.
All right.
That's why it's called... The store is called A Whole Lot of Muffin Going On.
Yeah, it's a long title. But I just... Look, I need a muffin. I'm very late for work. I need something.
Okay. They're everything muffins. Would that be good?
Yeah. Sure. I don't know what that means, but sure.
It's just got everything. Everything but cranberry.
Okay.
Oh no, it's bad.
Okay, we cut to this guy at home with his wife. How are you? Because I really need to talk to you about Amanda's work in school. She's just been... the teacher called again, and I don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end.
I'm sorry. We can talk about that, but work was really tough. I lost my job.
You lost your... What happened? What are we gonna do?
I'll get another job. There's a bagel place down the street. There's a French deli.
I don't understand how this could have happened. I mean, we have a mortgage to pay. We have so much. I can't make enough money to support this family as a pilot, okay? I can't. I need another income.
Well,
I don't know if bagel stores and delis is gonna get where we need to go.
on the plus side, we have dinner covered tonight because part of my severance package were all the muffins that are going to go bad tomorrow.
Part of your severance package was...
Mostly my severance package is muffins.
Was it your severance package, or did they just give you a bag of old
They
muffins?
just gave me a bag of old muffins.
God damn it.
I was told to throw them out.
Our daughter can't even spell. She is... If she weren't my daughter and I didn't love her, I don't know what I would think.
It sounds like it'd be really bad.
Yeah, it would be bad.
Listen.
We need to get her back on the right track, and part of that is keeping a consistent family life at home, and we can't do that without two incomes.
You're right.
I mean, she's stupid.
She's very dumb.
And I love her, but it's just that gene didn't get passed on.
I'll go talk to her. We cut to the room, and
Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey. I heard you're doing real bad in school.
Yeah.
Here's some muffins.
Ew. I don't want that.
What?
I don't want any muffins. I'm busy playing my games and reading my magazine.
You can read magazines, but you can't spell?
Yeah, it's mostly pictures.
Ugh.
Did Mr. Samuels call you again?
What? About
I didn't
what?
do anything wrong.
What?
I didn't do anything in the... Is this about what happened today?
I don't know what happened today. To you. What happened?
Do you know how there's dodgeball in gym?
Did you put another kid in the hospital?
Well, I did. But
I don't know why you use basketballs for dodgeball.
it's just... I just think it's fun.
And you solely go for the head.
I
And I don't understand it.
Yeah. And it's sometimes not even
Well,
in gym.
I'm such a bad father.
Okay.
Here, have this muffin, please. It'll
I
make me
don't
feel
want
better.
the-
It'll make me feel better. Just,
Dad.
mm-hmm.
Got
pesto on your shirt.
Damn it.
Why? You should probably clean.
I'll go clean up.
Just happens a lot. I just think you're a little bit of a messy.
Okay, all right. Shirt, why are you so messy?
Dad, I feel like you've got more going on than I do. I think you need to deal with you first.
I can't make anything go right. My muffins, my shirts, not my daughter.
All right. Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm about to throw a bunch of basketballs at you, okay?
Here, read a book. I'm leaving. Oh!
Get out!
I'm leaving the room.
Get out!
I'm leaving. It's my house. Honey,
Yeah?
I'm gonna go talk to your mother now.
Great.
Honey,
Yeah.
I left the muffins in her room. I'm just gonna,
I need a divorce.
like,
And you know why?
what? I think I know why, but
I've never in my life heard of someone who wants a divorce for this reason. But do you know what the reason is?
what is the reason?
You're weird.
I get it.
I want a
You know what?
divorce because you're
It
weird.
checks out.
We cut to that divorce meeting with their lawyers. I do not want him
Listen, it's
to
all-
have... excuse me, I'm speaking. I don't want this man to visit my kids. He's too weird.
And she can have the house, and I just insist that she takes all the muffins.
That is the part of this negotiation that I will not compromise on because I don't want the muffins. I don't know why he still has them. I don't know why he doesn't keep that. It seems to be the only thing that I think rightfully belongs to him. And, most importantly, it's fucking weird. It's weird that he's bringing in muffins to my divorce, all right?
It's all I had, and you get half.
Why are you wearing a top hat? It's just weird. I don't get it.
This is my new job.
What is your new job?
I'm working as a maitre d'
That doesn't
at a
require
theme
a
restaurant.
top hat.
It's a theme restaurant. It's set in a time period where I have to wear a top hat. I'll take it off.
Thank you.
Stupid hat. Why are you so stupid?
I think that we don't need to go much further. I think this who needs custody of these kids is quite clear.
That checks out, Honor. That checks out, Your Honor.
Great. I'm gonna go on home because this seems to be all wrapped up. So have a nice night, guys. I'm just I'm really relaxed. I'm a real relaxed judge.
That's very true.
Yeah.
We cut to the new restaurant that Tim is working at.
Good
Honey?
evening. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll give you two a moment.
Honey, what are you doing here with James, my old boss?
I didn't expect to see you here. James, you remember? Yeah. Yes, yeah, I do. Look, we this is obviously awkward, but we started seeing each other. But it.
I have to. My boss is looking at me. I have to do this the way we're supposed to. I'm supposed to greet you a certain way. Good evening, sir or madam.
Jesus.
Thank you for coming to our humble.
Okay. Is there any way you could do this for a different table? Send us a different waiter. I just feel like I don't want to watch
the
you
maitre
have to.
d', I have to do this for every.
It's weird.
I have no self-respect or dignity. Might I offer you a bottle of champagne for the lady? Or the handsome, strapping man here Why do I have to say this every time?
Hey, can you come over here for a second? I'm so sorry. We'll just give you a moment.
Yeah, what's going on?
You having another problem? You just say the script.
It's my ex-wife and my former boss.
Oh, God. That's... Okay, that's fair. But still, I mean, clean up. There's pesto all over your shirt. Yeah. We don't serve that. I don't know why that's there. It's gross. So just do something about that, please.
Scene. Edit. There it is.
That was fun.
That was maybe the longest improv set I've done on the podcast. Thanks for being here, Davy.
Ooh, sounds great. Thank you so much for having me. Can I plug the truth? Because we've got a 4-part serial coming out. So listen to it, starring Erica Hernandez and Peter Gross. Fantastic improviser. Yep.
Wow. Peter Gross is is that the Peter Gross of the Sonic Cats? Or is that Peter Gross?
No, of the Sonic
The same guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's on Veep. He's really great. So
super
talented.
Funny. Former writer of Late Night and Late Show and Colbert Report.
So that you should all listen to or follow The Truth Fiction. Thank you for listening all the way to the bitter end. By the way, that was a bonkers set.
It was. And I'm fine with it.
Damn right I'm fine with it. Now we have a good time, as you could tell from all the giggling through that episode. Again, we had wine. So what are you going to do? You can check out stuff about The Truth Podcast at thetruthpodcast.com. Please do that. Very fun podcast. And you can find it on iTunes, just like you can find us on iTunes. And if you want to know more about Davy, you could go to davygardner.com and at Davy Gardner on Instagram and Twitter. Of course, links in bio to all of this. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. We have a couple of fun episodes coming up. We're going to talk about the audition process from the performer's standpoint. We're not going to get any inside baseball in it. And we also have a former CIA agent coming up. It'll make sense when you hear it, why she's on a comedy podcast. It's a good one. Until next time, be good to each other.
The music for the theme song was created by Neil Brooks. The rap was written and performed by Nick Acevedo. The logo for There It Is was created by Jeff Prater. The There It Is podcast is produced by Jason Farr.